Hello, hello. We are going
Hi.
to have a very laid back day today.
Absolutely. We will continue with no stress. Everything's easy. Everything's chill. Welcome to week 4. Is it week 4? I'm so bad at this.
Oh,
Week
it's just
4
week
of our
4.
freaking
Yeah.
yeah.
So today we're going to learn about and the description here sounds very very fancy and very very scary. So local storage. And this just means we've learned how to send stuff to a server. We learned to send stuff when we talked about forms. Here we're going to say, "Hey, store this on the user's browser locally."
Yeah. You know, it kind of reminds me of how even maybe you have, maybe you haven't. You might heard of something called a back end and a front end. And what that comes down to is a lot of the programming we do on websites is a front end development. We're working on what the user sees. And these layers of like storing data, manipulating data in the background, sending out emails and all that stuff, that's a backend. And I think like working with this local storage, which again lets us store data in our browser so that when we come back, we can continue to use it, is a very, I would say, gentle introduction to a backend.
And I just wanted to call it really fast that it said because this would freak me out if I was brand new to tech, where it's like it stores key value pairs. And key value sounds scary, but we've seen this a lot of times without explicitly talking about it. So if we said a key value pair might be email and hello@example.com. So this is what the information is. So what the key is, like we have done with objects.
Hmm.
And the value. What's the I don't know. What's another way to say value?
The data?
Yeah, the information associated with that key.
Oh,
Okay.
I like that. Yeah, and it's not too different from a JavaScript object. You have a key and you have a value. So let's hop
Okay.
in. We're gonna be doing I love this. We're gonna be doing CRUD. And this is an abbreviation that you will see quite a few times, which is short for create, read, update, and delete. And these are operations that kind of like boil down to most of what we do with applications, right? If we're on social media, we make a post, we create a post. If we look at our timeline of posts, then we're reading data. If we edit a post, we're updating that data. And if we delete a post, well, we're deleting data. And I would say that covers, I even go as far as to say that's 100% of what we do with our applications.
And when we say post, this does not necessarily have to be like a blog post or a social media post. This is
Oh,
just things we can do with data.
uh-huh. All right, let's hop in. We're going to be making a to-do list app. So this
Okay.
is how it's going to look. Ooh.
And this is a really common learning project for folks. Like you'll see a bunch of to-do apps on GitHub or on Bitbucket or on GitLab. Any place people could post their projects. People love to do apps. Because they do cover these core concepts really well.
Yeah. So the thing about this one is that we've already got, I'm just going to preview this stuff real quick. We've already got a bunch of HTML. So we've got our form for making a to do. We have our add new task button. We've got our task to close the form, some icons using SVG. We're not going to be looking at SVG. We've covered it briefly before in terms of vector graphics.
Oh
Then there's
yeah.
our inputs for our to-dos, the title, the date, and the description, which we saw when I was demoing it. The button to add that task, our dialog to confirm deleting a to-do, and the tasks container where the list of tasks go, and our script.js.
Okay.
Yeah, so our HTML and CSS are already there, but of course nothing works yet. So we're going to be doing that. Shall I get started?
Yeah. So get element. Okay. Wait. I think we can do the first one, and then just. This is a really short one. It feels a little lazy to say we can do the first one and show how this is done, just so we don't take all the joy out of this from folks.
Yep.
So we know that begin by and this is one of these ones that what we put first comes at the end. So begin by accessing these elements using get element by ID and save them to relevantly named variables. Huh.
Perfect.
And it kind of seems so far like our variables are sort of const unless there's a reasonable reason to not make them a const.
Correct.
Is that often the way JavaScript works?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So when you're not sure, just a const. Oh, there's one more.
Mm, you should use get element by. Oh, you know what? I forgot document. Document dot get element by ID.
You've got to go to the doc. So it is the get element ID of the document. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There we go. Pat
Can't
pat.
hurt us, pat pat. And this might be a little bit of oh, hello, my loves. We're having a very
Hello.
chill one. So
Oh, we got more variables.
more I respectfully, I'm gonna say skip this. I don't like we're
Cool.
moving from step 2 to step 3 just because we don't want to take away all y'all's fun.
More variables.
Mm, this might be a very short session today. I'm sorry, my loves. And
That's
this is
okay.
just because this kind of muscle memory, the okay, make some consts and associate them. They're really it's like I'm telling y'all to eat your vegetables. They're very, very good for you. But it's really good to get this sort of muscle memory down.
Cool.
Okay.
So we're at so we've just declared what we've skipped, and what we'll let you all step through yourselves is essentially linking up a bunch of elements, mostly dialogues or buttons, to variables that we'll then access, and would assume associate with click events and other kinds of stuff.
Okay.
So, oh, const task data. And we're going to make this an empty array, which is going to store all of our tasks. And remember those to-dos, we're calling them tasks in this context. This storage will enable us to keep track of our tasks. And we're going to be saving these tasks to local storage, which we illuminated briefly, but we're not going to look at that just yet because first we're going to use let. We haven't made
Okay.
a let in a while.
So while you're doing that, I want to like ask the learners maybe for some examples. Why might we want to send why might we want to store something locally in a user's browser instead of sending it to a cloud or instead of sending it to a server? Why? What's
Hmm.
sort of the benefit? So why might I as a do it as a user story, as a user,
Mm,
why do I want to keep some kinds of data on my device? What kinds of data might be really good to keep on your device? Hmm.
cool. Pat, pat. Jane's got it. So we
Let's
can
so we can
change it.
change it. Boom.
Mhm.
Oh,
Privacy.
look at this. All of these babies are just after my own heart. To
Yes.
privacy, faster access. So that's oh, do you know what? So we got
Love
privacy,
this.
speed. There's one more reason that's really exciting and might be difficult for private data. Red. What about and this gets really, really hard because if you're watching us live, you've probably got really good connectivity. You're probably
Mhm.
on hopefully,
Ooh,
on a Wi-Fi or a cell, signal that's good. But what if you've got intermittent connectivity? What if you're using a web application where, "Hey, I'm gonna store this locally and then save it to the cloud once it's important." But all of y'all babbies saying faster access, privacy, and
love it.
obviously no favorites, but this, like, better privacy for the user's data, like, really encapsulates e oh, sorry, I'll stop gushing about how we are teaching, like, folks who are so, so in the know, so mindful
Love
of
it.
user privacy.
Sorry, one more. Tower of Brilliance says, "Use offline."
Of course, and there's a little bit of
Brilliant.
a delay, so you would have definitely said that before I said it. Offline use is so powerful.
I
Um,
I'm excited.
okay, so what what's a modal?
Yeah. So, oh, I wonder if we've seen modals before around here. Where would I have seen Oh, you know what's a modal? You know when Free Code Camp tells us to please donate if we can? That's sort of a popover that shows up in front of our stuff. That's kind of a modal in that it floats on top of our website. that's kind of what we're going to be doing here with our add new task. We're going to show a modal, a dialog that lets us enter a new task. How'd I do, Jess?
Yeah. It occurred to me that um, my answer for this is probably
Mhm.
not a correct answer because I'm like, oh, it's like a chunked thingy that's more distinctive. Tower of Brilliance is saying like a pop-up, right? Like a
Yep.
conceptual section of the website. And it was just me be like, oh, I've always thought of it as like a section thingy that's very distinct.
Mhm.
And Kai's like, oh, do you know what? It often obscures the background because it draws your attention to it. I think we don't say pop-up anymore because it's like associated with the 90s web in a you weren't there. You don't know.
I was.
You were 3.
So, one thing we're going to be learning here that I'm very excited about is that in the past we've added and removed classes from elements. We can actually use the toggle method to toggle adding and removing a class, which I'm super
What?
excited about. Yeah.
So we could just
So,
glue more classes on there when we need to sort of activate them in the CSS. So if
exactly.
I've got a class for turn this purple
Mhm.
and I can apply it or unapply it when I want stuff purple or not purple.
Exactly. So in this case, we've got a CSS class. Let me scroll down real quick. Hidden. Excuse me. Hidden. I guess we don't. I thought we did. My mistake. Oh no, there it is. So we've got a class called hidden, which sets display none. It means something is not visible, right? Go back to our HTML and look at our dialog. Where's that dialog?
Command F or Control F is going to absolutely save y'all's buns a lot of times on this. You're like, oh, where's so and so? Ha ha ha.
So our form currently has the class hidden. So what we're going to be doing is first adding an event listener for when we press a button. So open task form btn. Remember that's a button. Dot add event listener. And that event is called click.
Click.
Remember it's a string.
And the other, what is it going to? Oh, and then it's going to, so this is one of those arrow, it feels like they're having us write a lot of these arrow functions. We might make our peace with them.
Yeah. So this is a callback that takes place when we click.
And a callback's a function. Sounds scary, but it can't hurt us. JavaScript can usually not hurt us.
So our task form, remember that's one of our elements, one of our variables. We're going to class list toggle the class hidden. So when I click on the task form button, it's going to toggle the class hidden on the element task form. Let's give it a try.
Okay.
So, did you see it? It showed up.
So this had been there the whole time.
Yep.
But it was visually hidden from us.
Correct.
Okay. So no, I have advanced hidden class questions, which are like, oh, if somebody was tab navigating, would they be able to? I don't think so. No.
Nope.
So
This is something we
hidden
actually
means
learned.
hidden.
Oh, sorry.
No.
So this is something we learned in the HTML and CSS, the web development bootcamp, which is that CSS when we use CSS to say display hidden, it is in the DOM, but assistive technologies will not read it out loud because
Amazing.
it's
So
hidden.
yeah, so it's not just visually hidden from users who are visually engaging with the material. They're just like, look, don't worry about this right now.
Correct.
Okay. So
That's good.
toggle it. So wait. If you push
I'm
the
not
button
going anywhere.
again, will it go
What's that?
away? If you push the add task button again, will it go away?
No. Oh, I want to cover this question from Menashe. Maybe we've already covered it, but do all these callback functions have to be arrow functions? Can we use good old-fashioned named functions? Wait, named functions? Let's take a slight detour. This second parameter the second argument needs to be a function. It can be either, as you see here, an arrow function, but hey, let's say you hate arrow functions, so you just use a good old-fashioned anonymous function. Whoops, sorry, there we go. This works too. Oh, hold on, I might have to scroll up. Sorry, folks. This works too, instead of an arrow function. You can do that.
So
Remember, oh, sorry.
so the difference between arrow functions and function or function
Function.
functions?
Yeah,
The difference between arrow function and function functions is just the syntax, is just sort of the programming language grammar. They do the exact same thing. It's all about what feels more stylish in your heart.
correct. And remember the implicit return, which we've covered a couple times in these past few
Oh,
weeks. But
yes.
because this is a function, and Menashe, you kind of said this. Do I have to pass in a function defined here, an anonymous function? No. Function handle click, have it do what's inside of here,
Ah.
and then just pass in the reference. You can do that too if you want.
So here's a function. Here's what we're going to be doing. Let's pass it in as a reference.
Correct.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So this one's saying, hey, this function toggles this back and forth. Hey, the second function listens for the click and then calls handle click.
Yes.
All
And
right.
I'm gonna repeat myself, and I apologize because I know it's annoying when I repeat myself, but there is no best way to approach this. The only thing I recommend is that you be consistent. Pick a way, stick with it. So, bring it back to the way it was. Oh my goodness. There we go. Looks good. We pat, we keep going. Ooh. Now we're going to be using the dialog element show modal function. Oh, wait. Tower Brilliant says, but can the user click on the element? They should. So if we have an event click listener on an element, that means that they can click on it. Like we
Okay,
did
that
here.
seems legit.
Yeah.
So if I'm listening for a click, they can click.
Yep. So, ooh. Now, we're going to be adding a click listener. Oh, sorry, Tower Brilliance. You're asking the hidden element. No, you can't click on it if you can't see it. You can't interact with it. Thank you. Sorry, I was unclear. You're totally good. Thank you both for clarifying. My bad.
Bro, where are you going? There's
Task
nothing behind me.
form btn dot add event listener. Click. And we've done this before, so we're going to do it again here. Our little callback. I'm just going to give myself a bit more space. Yeah. So confirm close dialog dot show modal.
Okay.
Let's do it. So this is a closed task form. So that's that X button here. Are we ready to see what happens?
I'm nervous but excited.
Let's give it a try. Ooh, so this is an actual pop-up. Notice it didn't do anything with classes. This is show modal. Let's go back to the HTML real quick and just get a feel for what kind of element that was. Now that was, let me scroll down real quick. Dialogue. So this is a special kind of HTML element that lets us show this on top. Cool. How are we feeling? Should I keep going?
Yeah, well. Okay, so this is a really the element wasn't hidden, the one I clicked on, and it's not. So the button isn't hidden. The add new
This
task
is not
button,
hidden.
not hidden. So when we click on that, we take the hidden class off of this form.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now I can click on it. Now it's saying I can interact with it. This is now unhidden because its parent is unhidden. So now I can interact with it by clicking here, and now I have this dialog or modal show up.
Modal. Okay. So modal poppy uppy conceptual unit?
Yeah,
Chunk?
I'd call it a unit.
Yeah.
I was about to make a bad joke about it being absolutely positioned and it being an absolute unit, but no, see, I have restraint.
I'm about to not have restraint and step away for a moment to have a discussion with my manager. Bro, get off the desk.
All fine. So cool. Pat, pat. Oh, hey, here's here's a modal, here's a dialogue. So
Ah,
free code camp is free, and this boot camp is also free. So free code camp does depend on donations as they're an NGO. If you can, if you want to, if it's something that you can do right now, but you can come back and do later,
like
you
if
can
you
donate a
don't got
couple
the
of times.
money, don't donate money you don't have.
Absolutely. So we'll go on ask me later and continue.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
we click here on cancel, we'll want to close the modal so that the user can continue editing. And we will have it so that instead of, what was it before? Show modal, when we click on the cancel button, it'll close the modal.
Close modal. Okay. So I'm gonna guess that we need a cancel button,
Yep.
add event listener, and this is gonna be click again.
Mhm.
Okay. So this feels a little bit familiar. Surely the rest of this lesson will just be like laid back stuff we're familiar with. Surely it's not going to get us. Nothing scary
Well,
or bad could happen.
nothing scary or bad will happen. We'll just discover some new stuff. So cancel should close the dialogue. Let's go. Yeah. Discard does nothing.
we just
Oh,
we haven't set any rules for it yet. Oh, I'm gonna
yeah.
pat pat.
Pat, pat. Ah, here we go. So we'll want to, when we click on the discard button, we'll want to hide the modal, but also re-hide the form. So we know how to do this a little bit. So we've got a reference to our discard button. Add
Okay.
event listener.
Listener.
Click. Whoopsie daisy.
And then that
Now,
arrow function again.
yep. So we will first close. So confirm close dialog dot close. Is that correct? Yes. And then we've done this before. Task form dot class list dot toggle hidden.
Okay.
So we will,
Okay. This is just the
yeah.
reverse. So we're saying like, hey, if you do say, I do want to close this, I don't want to save my work, what'll happen is we'll just put that hidden toggle back.
Exactly.
Say hi. Now say bye.
Oh. So discard. So this should hide this dialog and hide this form. Let's see. Ah, magnificent. So,
Okay. I'm still waiting for stuff to get scary, but so far, haha. Oh,
so
prevent
we've,
defaults new.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. This is going to be cool. So we have a new kind of event to listen out for. And what we're going to be doing is start working on saving the data in the form. So remember that this is a form. If I click on add task, hold on, let me put some stuff here. Random's asking a question that I like a lot. Is there a particular reason to use toggle instead of add and remove? I can think of a couple of them.
I think
Kristen,
Kristen's got it.
yep.
So, you don't have to write as much code because toggle's just like, hey, if it's on, turn it off. If it's off, turn it on.
We don't have to like keep track of whether it's on or off.
And Kristen, somebody was saying we had some foreshadowing about stuff that was going to get scary later. I think state. So we've talked a little bit about how scope is just going to get us again and again. We've got to kind of make peace with messing up scope. I think state is going to be something that gets messy as we get further into JavaScript as well, but it can't hurt us.
Kai for Q, your question is super valid. I will have an answer for you as soon as we continue implementing this. But hey, actually, now's a good time as any. So right now it does, but I bet we don't wanna.
Ooh.
All right. So let's let's add a new event listener. Task form dot add event listener.
And the first
Now,
part of this
yep,
feels chill because, like, submit is just the exact same as like we it's the same syntax as click. It can't hurt us. But then inside our curly braces, we need to use a prevent default method. And we haven't really played with this yet.
yep. But before we look at
Oh,
prevent default, I want to look at this parameter here, E, for event. And I wanna um preface this by saying if you want an in-depth explanation as to what are events and how those works, go back to last week because we worked on event and event listeners for event objects. Go back to last week's I think it was either Friday's or Thursday's lesson. I'm going to assume that we're all up to date on why we're having an event here. This event, remember, holds the data of what happened. In this case, the submit of the form. Now, usually when you submit a form in HTML, it loads a new page, right? So we want to prevent that form from getting submitted. We want to stop the page from being loaded.
so
That's
here,
oh, sorry.
no, here the event that we're listening for
Yep,
is where it would usually trigger a reload. So this is the submit
yep.
is the event we're listening for.
Correct. So we're saying, hey, when we submit the form, instead of loading a new page wherever the form gets submitted to, hold on a second. This is what prevent default does. This stops the browser from refreshing the page. So we're
So
saying
this
like,
is
hold on,
like
hold on. Yeah,
don't so default is just the default expected behavior. It's not necessarily a page
correct.
refresh, but this is like when you're out with your friends and you climbed a tree and you're thinking about jumping out, because of course, if you climb a tree, you're going to jump out. And your friends are like, don't do it. Don't do it, babe. So this is preventing the default behavior when the default behavior would be silly or unwanted.
Correct. So we're saying,
Okay.
hey, don't load a new page. I want to do stuff with this form. Oh, let's keep going. So we want to
Oh,
so we're going to add the task to our task data array. We're going to be using find index, and this takes a callback to check the index of the element that passes a certain condition. I want to spend a little bit of time in Python Tutor with this.
yeah. Well, and while you do it, I want to talk about why we need to check to see if this has already been added to the array. So users can do a bunch of stuff, sometimes seems silly, but they can do stuff super fast as well. So if
Yeah.
I click a couple of times on the same button real fast,
Mhm.
maybe so I was using an online shop the other day and I clicked pay now accidentally. And it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, and my bank app was like, hey, hey. So I clicked out of it really fast to say, oh, I'll go to my cart. Um, and it was unexpected behavior. It broke the whole thing.
Oh. Oh goodness. Yeah. So exactly. So cool. We've got this array of numbers, 3, 1, 5, and 6. And we want to find the index of the first element of numbers that's bigger than 3. And check out how this works. So it calls that function find index on this array, and it's going to iterate through them. So first num is 3. We're going to check, hey, is num bigger than 3? Nah, false. Now num is 1. Is 1 bigger than 3? Nah, false. Now we're at 5. Is 5 bigger than 3? True. So then we assign that index at which that happened, which is 2, to first num larger than 3. Let's check it out. So that's how find index works. So we're going to use const to declare data r index. and assign it the value of task data.find index. And inside here, we're going to have item, if I could spell, there we go. And inside our arrow function, we're going to check that the ID, so the item.id is equal to current task.id. Now, some of y'all are like, hold on, when did we start talking about IDs? We haven't talked about IDs yet. We don't have any IDs. We don't have any tasks. This is previewing the fact that we will be working with item objects, in this case, tasks, that will have IDs. So don't worry.
Okay. And this is so I think this is reasonably common when we're building something or going through a tutorial that sometimes we build all of the structure first. And sometimes we sort of bop back and forth. And I think it's much more common to bop back and forth and say, oh, I know that we need this thing or that thing. I'm going to write it here in the JavaScript because I'm doing JavaScript and then I'll come and make it somewhere else.
Yeah. I want to say something that might be confusing. IDs in this context are not the same as HTML IDs. In HTML, an ID is an identifier that we give an HTML element so that we can find it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
We remember that. So in when you reference them in CSS, we see the hash.
Yep.
Um
Or get element by ID in our
Get element by
DOM
ID.
elements.
So a JavaScript ID can be something that feels pretty different.
Yeah, when we're working with data, an ID is usually a number or a unique identifier that are generated by a computer. You might have seen the term UUID, unique something identifier. These are used so that we can, when we're looking stuff up in our data, in our database, our base of data, let's say you have two users with the same name in your database. Say there's two Ramon Huidobros. It's not impossible. My uncle's also called Ramon Huidobro. And so is my grandfather and his
Oh,
father.
no, you can't just skip around. There's like a whole little there's a whole football team of y'all?
If there is one, we're not very good. But so how do you tell us apart? A database will assign to us a number when we're created. This ID has nothing to do with our names usually. I'm user 1 and my uncle's user 2 and my grandpa's number 3. These are unique so that they tell us apart. Universally unique. Thank you, Jess. So here we're checking, hey, look up the index of the task whose ID is the same as the one we're currently working on. Next, we're going to retrieve the values from the input fields and store them in a task object. Each task will also have a unique ID. See, we're talking about that just now. So we will create a new variable called taskObj, which is an object with an ID property. So we will, for our ID property, we will retrieve the value from the title input field. We know how to do that. Title input dot value. So we'll retrieve that value. We got it. We will then do lowercase it. So now that value is lowercase. And then we will use split and join. Cool. I got this. Split by spaces. And we will join with hyphens. So take our title inputs value, turn it into lowercase, separate it so that there's no spaces, and replace those spaces with dashes.
We've seen this before.
Yeah, we have.
This feels a lot like what we did with the palindrome stuff.
Correct. In fact, hold on. You should use template strings to get the title input. Template literals? Oh, my bad. Let's use template literals.
Oh, with the
Yeah. Cool. There we go. How are we feeling? That was a lot we just did. Should we address a random's question or should we save it for later?
Uh, wait, everybody needs to stop saying clever, cute things at the same time. I'm not good enough to keep up. Let's like yeah, we're not in a hurry. So, um, yeah. So, Ran is asking, so these IDs in JavaScript, are these automatically assigned or is this something we can modify?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
So an object ID in JavaScript, is that something that JavaScript just gives it? Or is this something we can set? Or both?
So in this case, we're setting it ourselves. Like in this application, we are making it automatic. As you can see, we automatically generate the ID from the title input. If you want to modify it, look, it's JavaScript. You can modify the value however you see fit. It's just a convention.
Okay. Yeah, that's doable. Oh,
Cool. Oh, sorry.
everything's easy.
So, aha! This is why we're making them. Look at you, Mirdev, like going right for it. What if you have two tasks with the same title? Great question. What we're doing now is adding another hyphen here and then taking a date. Date.now. What this is going to do, because it's being treated as a string here, is going to turn it into what's called a
Date stamp?
timestamp.
Tight stamp.
And in computing terms, this is the number of milliseconds that have elapsed, i.e., how many milliseconds have taken place since January 1st, 1970. Let's console log it and see how it looks.
What?
Hmm?
Do you know what?
Sorry, did I go too fast?
Oh no, you just said something like real out of pocket and um
I didn't mean to.
no, you're great. I just had a question that maybe other people had, which was
Go for it.
what? I'm just looking that up. It's fine.
No, you're totally good. So
But like
this,
why January 1st, 1970? That's the question that was in
oh,
my heart. And
why?
I'm just gonna go look that
Oh,
up.
let's put that.
Yeah.
Let's put that as a question for the Q&A. I believe
Right?
it's something a bunch of smart people decided. Maybe it's when computers started. I don't know. That's not true. But yeah, you can see here how it looks. So this task object now has hello friends. See that it's hyphenated, and then the number of seconds when I pressed since the 1st of January, milliseconds, sorry, since the 1st of January 1970. Cool. Pat pat. Let's keep going. So we are now going to take the values of title input, date input, and description input and store them in this task object. So title is going to be title
Title.
input dot value. Sorry,
Oh. So these are our key value pairs.
correct.
So we'll see title and then whatever title the users put in.
Mhm.
This is great.
Perfect. Do we want to console log that? I want to console log it. I love console logging. I find it really helpful.
Teach JavaScript.
The data's today. Do good. Look, I'm not here to make it super descriptive. Let's check it out.
Look at that. We've got this weird millisecond timestamp that we were promised. And then we see these key value pairs title, teach JavaScript, date. I will say, loving the ISO date, the year, month, day.
Mhm.
Very, very lawful good. And then the description, okay, the description. Yeah, this seems chill.
Perfect. Let's check our code. It looks good. Perfect. Let's keep going. So now that we've got our input fields and we've generated an ID, we'll want to add this new object to our task data array. However, we should only do this as the task is new. Sounds like an if statement coming up. If the task already exists, we'll set it up for editing. This is why we looked up the data array index. So if the data are index, remember the one we looked up before? If it's not equals to -1, wait, what does it mean if it's not equals to -1?
Oh, that means there's something in it.
Correct. That means that this task already exists.
Oh.
So in there, we're going to use tasks dot unshift task obj to the beginning of the data array. Oh, sorry, I wrote that wrong. We need to check if it's equals to -1. That is, if this task does not exist yet, we will unshift it or like gently bring it in to the beginning of the array. Let's try it out.
Okay.
So teach JavaScript today, do good, bring up our console. So tasks is not defined because I forgot what it's called. Task data, my bad. Task data. Let's try that again. Teach JavaScript. Fourth, do good. Add a tasks. Tasks is not, oh my goodness.
It's okay. It's just JavaScript. Can't hurt us.
It will not. I refuse. So there we go.
Okay, so our ID. I love this. Our ID is a combination of the title plus this timestamp.
Correct. Now,
Hmm.
hold on. Now, I've added another one. We've done a second console log here. And notice that our second task is now at the beginning of the array. As Mehmet said, it adds it to the beginning of the array. That's what unshift does.
Okay. So
Instead of
here it
push,
said
yeah,
if if you've already got something in this array, if I've already given you a task and I give you another one,
yeah.
go ahead and put it in. So, hey, if the array isn't empty, put new. Ooh,
Sorry. This data array index is checking, does this task already not already exist?
okay.
Then we put it at the beginning. Monica's asking, does index of -1 means it doesn't exist? It's only -1, Monica. Like this is another convention / quirk, however you want to call it, from JavaScript. When we did find index, if there isn't the task, if this task does not exist, then instead of returning the index of the array that exists, it gives us -1. So yes, -1 is the standard practice here. Cool. Let's keep going. So we're going to do a for each. I'm excited. Can you remind me how to do this?
Super muted.
Sorry.
So Um, this is going to be like a loop, but we specify that we go through it as many times as we have specified. And what counts the number of times we'll do it is here it's gonna be how many, items are in this array, the test data array. So for each,
Yep.
and we need to put that in the smooth braces, isn't it? Because the array is our parameter that we're passing in.
No, the array is what we're
Oh, it's right
calling
there.
the loop
It's right
on.
there. Sorry.
No,
Yes.
you're good. The parameter is gonna be, each item,
Oh, yes,
but
because
we're
it
gonna
says right
destructure
here.
it.
So, is that gonna be it's not just ID.
No, we need,
It's
the
test
curly
data
braces.
dot
Nope, we need the curly
nope.
braces to destructure it. Remember we did that last week where we could say, "Hey, instead of doing item and here
Yeah,
doing const ID equals item dot ID, which is
yeah.
cumbersome,
We can
we
do
could
it in here. That
yeah,
was last
item
week, though. I've forgotten all of it.
bear description." There we go. ID, title, date, description.
Okay. That seemed too easy.
It's stuff we've done before, so it felt familiar.
Okay. It seems like it could be much scarier. Easy's not fair.
So we're going to use tasks container dot
Dot
inner HTML.
HTML.
What's the
And that's
addition assignment?
oh, that's when you wanna add something but not overwrite it. So that's that plus equal thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Plus equal thing being a very technical term.
it's perfect.
And the empty backticks imply that we're probably gonna do something with template literals, like maybe a combination of writing and code in a minute.
I bet we're going to write some HTML.
Oh, no. Oh, that's
But
fine. You know what? It's not a big deal. It's not gonna hurt us.
there you go. See? So in our dynamic HTML
In our
div
dynamic.
class. So we're going to set the ID. Oh, ID of our
Oh,
div.
so that's where we need our dollar sign wiggly babies.
Yeah.
ID dot?
Nope, it's just ID.
Just ID,
Remember,
just the ID.
as we destructured it
We've
out of the item.
we've already yep. You were literally saying, "Hey, we do this so we don't have to do it every single time below."
Correct. So ID is equals ID. I love that. Oh, hold on. The class tag created div element using.
It does have the class. Does it expect the class first?
Okay, it may be. If it does, no. The
Hmm.
ID equals to. Oh, hold on. You know what?
What?
I made a mistake.
Oh.
You might be wondering, hold on, Ramon, why are you putting quote marks? We don't need quote marks. It's a string. I know that. You know that. But HTML don't know that.
Okay. So because we're passing it in to
Oh, look.
HTML, Mehmet is just all over this and just like, "Y'all, come on, just come on. Let's hop along."
You're right.
Steven, this is a super good question. I'm just gonna save it so we can hustle a little bit more. Everything's fine.
Yep. So that looks good. Pat, pat, let's continue. So we've got our div now. Inside that div, we're going to have a p element.
Okay. And then template strings to set the content to title. So dollar sign, Wiggly Babies title,
Yeah. Oh,
and then a
and right.
strong element. Okay. Back in my day, that was bold, wasn't it? So this is going to say, hey, make the title visually styled as bold. Okay.
Yeah.
I think, oh, did we do the exact same thing again?
Right before the content of the p element, create a strong element with the text title. No, I forgot this because I didn't read properly.
Oh, well, I mean, like reading's faintly overrated.
And this should be closed here. That's it.
Oh, Mehmet, we're not gonna bully you. We're gonna get you to teach next time because you're like, I got this, y'all. I read the instructions and we
Love it.
appreciate it. Thank you, my love.
Pat, pat. All right. So
Nope,
now we'll
we're
do
gonna
another one
skip
with.
this one. We've done this.
Oh no, we're skip really?
Yeah.
Because we're doing the same with a date. Okay. Oh no, are we doing the same with the description now?
Yeah, pass.
Oh no.
It's okay. Otherwise, we'll do all of the stuff for folks and um we won't get through everything. Monica's saying that it's actually better when I type, so I'll type tomorrow.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
type too
Yeah.
quickly.
No, it's just because I'm much nicer than you.
Class set to BTN.
Okay.
And
Okay, so here we're
that's
adding that's not true. Like Ramon is the nice one. Um, because for example, I'm going to stop us in a step or two so people also have some homework.
oh,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so here we're just making the buttons.
cool.
Oh, pat, this can't hurt us. Let's
No,
do one more.
cool.
Okay, and this one's a little bit hard and weird. No, not hard, not hard. This is a little bit new.
Oh, I remember this. Task form dot class list dot
Okay.
toggle
And
hidden.
this is okay, so we're gonna toggle that hidden class off again or on again. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's toggle
No. Well, if we can click it, it's probably going to be on, so it would toggle off.
off. Okay. Um, you should close the form view to view the task. You're right. So from this, the state would be unhidden, or
Yep,
the hidden class would not be applied, and we are going to reapply it.
correct.
We're going to get our last pat, and then we are going to abandon the learners for a couple of steps.
So let's take a look at where we're at and where we'll start tomorrow. I would be happy to start here tomorrow. What do you think, Jess? Do we want to
Yeah.
give folks a couple of steps of homework?
We've given them a couple steps in the middle of homework. Do you want to give because I no, it's because I'm the mean one. I think letting people experiment with reset on their own would probably be really, really healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we've been so careful to try and go through the big concepts with y'all. I think that we want to be a little bit mean,
Okay.
and maybe start like 26, 27.
Cool. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Tomorrow we'll start at step 27.
Okay. It's okay. We'll go a little bit slower tomorrow. I promise. I'll be the one typey just to slow it down.
Also, I would love to encourage y'all, because a lot of this is new. If you sometimes feel that we're going too fast, it might be a good idea to try and step through these exercises before we go live on stream, so that you have a bit of an idea what's going on and we can fill in the gaps for you.
Do you know what? I actually hate to admit this. So I work with a tutor for my language work.
Yeah.
And I read with them
Yep.
books in my target language. And sometimes I'm busy and I'll just join them for a class to be like, hey, let's read this thing that I haven't previewed. And it's just like we go a lot slower and it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
Life gets in the way. I've got a lot of excuses. But then sometimes when I've got the chance to, even if I log on an hour beforehand and just look at stuff before I work with my tutor, it tends to work so much better. I know that finding the time's really, really hard.
Yeah.
But if you can go through these things and try them on your own first, you don't have to keep up with everything. This is just to preview it. It can be really, really good for making this click a lot better when we go through it again.
Yeah. And besides, this is all recorded.
Oh yeah. You could just go through this and then you'll get our annoying crosstalk. Mm.
No, it's great. I love the crosstalk.
Yeah, but we're us.
Fair.
Um,
So we do some Q&A?
let's do some Q&A.
We kind of answered this already. Is there a particular reason to use toggle instead of add and remove? Mostly so that we don't have to keep track of whether it's added or removed. Let's go to the next one. Oh yeah, Kai Frick, you asked, does the input value remain after hidden and unhidden? We saw that it didn't, but I bet as we go through this, it's gonna get persisted. as in it'll
Oh,
remain or unremain.
that doesn't make sense now, but it'll make sense in a minute. Everything's scary and bad, but not in ways that can hurt us.
Yeah.
So this is on
So
step 17.
yeah. Let me read the question real quick. Is the behavior of for each here how you can use the destruction of the parameter special to for each, or can you destructure parameters whenever you call a function on an object? Fantastic question, Stephen B. Here's the thing about destructuring. I'm actually not gonna. We don't even need to look at step 17.
Oh.
Let's have an object here. I'm gonna call it. Look, I'm not gonna win an award for the best naming ever. Apple 1, banana 2, cantaloupe 3. So what first let's cover what is destructuring. Let's remember what we went through last week. If we wanted to access apple, banana, and cantaloupe, we could say const apple equals object.apple, const banana equals, I'm just gonna hide your comment, Stephen, just so we can have some more space. Dot banana, and so on and so forth. Kind of annoying. So we can use destructuring const apple, banana, cantaloupe equals object, because it
Ah.
destructures this object and assigns those variables accordingly. But here's the thing. Let's say we have a function called, I don't know, assess
Fruits.
fruit. Oh yeah, let's go with that. Fruits, right? And oh, I'm going to rename this to basket.
Ah. Aw.
Uh, box of fruits. So const apple equals box.app, kind of annoying. So here, where it expects an object and we know its structure in advance, we can destructure it. Apple, banana. I
Oh.
don't even want to use cantaloupe. Forget cantaloupe
It's because cantaloupe's fussy to type, isn't it?
a little bit.
Yeah. I saw you typing cantaloupe live on air. I'd be like, carrots right next door. I mean, good for you and all.
I mean,
It's not a fruit, but like there's yeah.
but yeah, fair point. So in any context where we can assign a value, be it a parameter or assigning variables, we can destructure. And you can see not specific to for each, because for each, now this is where things get a little bit weird. Hold on a second. I need to think about this.
Okay.
So let's rename this to baskets. And now it's an array of objects. Console log. I have apples and bananas. Cool. So when we call food on a object that is a container of apples and bananas, it's going to print out. Let's try it out. Console food baskets object at array 0, which remembers that first basket. There we go. Let's run this. Bear with me, folks. So we've defined our array of baskets. It's calling function food, which has apple and banana. So I have, well, it's not the best function ever. I have 1 apples and 2 bananas.
We're not gonna get fancy with it yet.
Not
I'd
yet.
personally just put the backslash in to be apples/apples, but there's
That makes
obviously
sense.
fancier ways to do this.
But here's the thing. What if, let's say we wanted to for each, baskets dot for each basket we can call food with basket, and it's going to destructure it automatically here.
So we could have another basket that's completely different,
Yeah.
and it would still can you make us another basket just so we can
Let's have another basket.
what? This is so chaotic, I love it. Um,
Apple 2,
what? No,
banana.
no, it's gotta be completely different. This one's vegetables. Apricot, breadfruit.
Again?
Breadfruit?
Like this?
Yeah.
Never heard of these, and I want one.
What? What? Why? Yeah, we'll make carrot the weird one.
So this is going to be interesting because our apricot, breadfruit, carrot basket does not have apple or banana. So let's see what happens. Y'all might already know. Let's take a look. So first it's going to do the first basket. It's going to print out. Notice, check it out how apple and banana are getting assigned. Apple and banana are 1 and 2 respectively. I have 1 apples and 2 bananas. Cool, done. Next basket. Did you see that? So now we're calling it with apple and banana. But hold on. Apple doesn't have a value. Banana doesn't have a value in our second basket. So they're both, look,
Undefined.
undefined. So let's
Okay.
see what shows up here. I have undefined apples and undefined bananas.
I mean, technically true, but existentially extremely concerning.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Kristen's asking, can you toggle and affect them all? What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand the question. I'm sorry.
I think it was like you had to be there in the moment and we continued to move through time and space. Cruelly,
So
unheeded.
we're only toggling the one and only task form element. Because there's only one.
Oh, but we could have so if there's no hidden class.
Well, if there's no hidden class, it'll toggle it to be there.
Okay. Oh, chill.
Yeah.
Let's talk homework.
So
So
tomorrow,
we'll start
sorry.
on 27. Homework I'm going to give people is to please have the chillest possible rest of your
Love it.
Monday or start of Tuesday. Obviously, the homework you're giving them is to start on 27. Rough.
That is entirely fair.
So we're going to go ahead and we'll see the exact same time tomorrow. If you can't meet us in real time, that's not a problem. The videos will stay up not forever because the heat death of the universe will hit at some point, but so long as YouTube exists and nothing weird has happened that is outside of our control, the
Yep.
videos will stay up.
Totally.
Please have the easiest possible time, my loves.
Take care, everyone.